I would like to welcome all of you today in joining our uh, webinar. This is the second webinar that we are organizing with Professor Dr. Mehmet Gunesh from Agadir University. Today's lecture by Professor Mehmet will deal with the history of Ottoman Palestine and Jewish settlements in Palestine. Professor Mehmet is going to explain to us the history of Palestine before the Ottoman state, the meaning of the name Palestine, Palestine during the era of Prophet David and Solomon, or Daud and Suleiman, the history of Palestine in the time of the Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Romans, and finally we are going to cover the history of Palestine during its time of Islamic liberation. And we hope that Professor Mehmet is going to visit the era of the Khulafai Rashidun, of the Umayyads, the Abbasids, the Crusades, the era of Salahuddin Ayyubi, and finally the Ottoman period. Professor Mehmet will today deal with the notion of Palestine during the late Ottoman Empire. And as you can understand from the poster of this webinar, Professor Mehmet is going to deal with the issue of Jewish settlement, the birth of Western Zionism, and the Ottoman response to Zionism. So without any further ado, I want to invite Professor Mehmet to start his lecture and to enlighten us more about the history of Ottoman Palestine and the Jewish settlement. Thank you, Professor Mehmet, for joining us. One more thing for those who probably join our online lectures for the first time. Professor Mehmet, he is from Turkey. He teaches at Agadir University. He has finished his studies at Marmara University, and he is an expert on Ottoman history. His PhD was completed at Marmara University, and he has written many books and articles on the process of Ottoman modernization, the Ottoman central and provincial administrative structures, and of course, as you may understand, Professor Mehmet speaks Turkish, English, and Arabic. Now, during our lecture, probably we might have Brother Hazik, who follows us and last time was in a way doing for us the Google translator. So in case sometimes Professor Mehmet is going to pronounce some terms according to the Turkish version, time after time we might see Brother Hazik telling us the proper English pronunciation. So Professor Mehmet, welcome, and now is your turn to enlighten us with your lecture.
Welcome to you. I thank you for your presentation. Dear participants and listeners, today in our webinar, we will examine the subject of Palestine and Jerusalem. The region is important for all divine religions and Islamic history. First of all, we will begin to Palestine, its short history. The name Palestine comes from Palestinians settled the region in 12th century Aegean region, coming from there, BC, 12th century BC. This region, as we say it, Canaan. And after that, we see some different civilizations, states settled here, annexed here. For example, Jews came here. We know Moses first brought them Sinai desert, but they couldn't come first that region. The important figure we see about the Jews is David, Hazreti Davut, we say in Quran, captured Palestinian region and made Jerusalem the state's capital. And after that, Solomon ruled that region. Solomon also constructed first temple. We know it's important for Jews. But after that, after Suleiman, the state divided two pieces, North Israel and South Yehuda states, two states, North and South. Palestine, after that, conquered by Assyrians, 720 BC, before Christmas. And sometime later, Babylonians conquered here. And 587 BC, Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar, Bukhtanasar, we say in Islamic literature, his name Bukhtanasar, destroyed Jerusalem and First Temple. First Temple, for example, that means Hazreti Solomon's temple, first destroyed in 587 before Christmas by Babylonians, Bukhtanasar. And about 50 years later, 530s, Kyros, it's that name changed different, but we can say Cyrus in West literature. 538 BC, before Christmas, captured again, conquered that region, and sent Jewish people back to the Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem, temple was constructed second time. Before Christmas 63, Roman Empire conquered region. After the Anno Domini, we say, or a Christian era, 66, Jewish people revolted against the Roman, and that uprising continued 4 years. And Romans, after that, in 70 Christianate, CE, destroyed Second Temple, and after that, the temple wasn't constructed again. And that came to till time of the Muslims. Muslim in Hazreti Ömer, under his rule, conquered Jerusalem between 636 and 640 years, 4 or 5 years, in 4 or 5 years. But there were in Palestine or Jerusalem, Islamic, Christian, and Jewish people. 3 religions were here. Crusades were made 1095 or 1095 to 1291, 200 years for crusades continued because of Jerusalem, its pilgrimage. They wanted that take that place from the Muslims, but they couldn't do it. But in first crusade they captured Jerusalem. But Salatin Ayyubi, 1187, year 1187, took Jerusalem back, and after Salatin, Jerusalem remained in Muslim governments. We can explain this short history, and after that, religion importance of Palestine. We can speak about it. Palestine, or especially Jerusalem, is important for three big divine religions: Islam, Christianity, and Jewish. First of all, if we go to with history, chronological, Jews, for Jews, it's important because that place, promised lands, it's called like this, promised lands. Promised lands, of course, not only Palestine, but it means larger places. But in it, the most important part of it is Palestine and Jerusalem. Prophet Abraham, as belief, the Allah or God or Jehovah, they say, names may change, promised that place to Abraham and his pedigrees. First, Abraham saying, I will establish your borders from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea and from the desert to Euphrates River. Euphrates now is in the south of Turkey, to Syria, goes down. And then repeated that vow Ibrahim's descendants until the time inheritance, as inheritance. The Jews migrated to Egypt, under Yusuf, Hazreti Yusuf, Egypt, but some years later, long years later, they migrated and promised land under Moses, and after Moses, especially Yeshua, and King David collected Jews under one roof, temple constructed by Solomon, and we repeated them. This is such an important place, Jews, because Jews say historically and religiously that place, they say, so-called promised land, they say that place theirs. And in Christianity, of course, Jerusalem is important for life of Jesus. Jesus gives its great importance to that place because he was born in Jerusalem, he lived in Jerusalem, and in Christian belief, Jerusalem was crucified in Jerusalem. So this is important for them. In Islamic world, it's important for Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam for his journey, night journey, Isra, from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. And Masjid al-Aqsa, now Qubbatus Sahra in it, and in Jerusalem, it's first Qibla of Muslims. This is important for the Muslims. And we see all three big divine languages, divine religions have important claims in respect of them. And we explained history of Palestine. Palestine was at last from 1260 years, 1260 was in hands of Mamluk. And Mamluk ruled that region, Harem, Mecca, Medina, Kudus. Jerusalem, we use Kudus name in Islamic literature. Ottoman Empire, when it was established in 1300 years, expanded its territories and came to the till Syria, Iraq, and Syria, Iraq, Hijaz, Egypt. They were all under Mamluk rule, and Ottoman Sultan Yavuz Selim, Yavuz Sultan Selim, or Grim, Yavuz the Grim, conquered Palestine in 1516. And that region, Palestine, Syria, Iraq, Egypt, they remained, Egypt a little earlier, but 400 years, for 400 years, those regions were under Ottoman rule, and Ottoman dominated Jerusalem and other regions legally, and used that region under province of Damascus, gave liberty to other religions, Christianity and Jews, and especially Christians have had some concessions about their church, and Catholics, Orthodox, and other the sects had their own rights, concessions to make their religious worships. And 19th century, of course, it's an important change in the world, and of course for Ottoman, because Ottoman was a very big state, empire, and especially European cities, countries, England, France, Russia, wanted to take control of Egypt, Ottoman Empire, and divide Ottoman Empire to pieces, began to fight against Ottoman inside, and especially Russia made this. England made that policy by missionaries, and established consulates in Jerusalem, and began to be effective in Jerusalem. From middle of 19th century, they increased their effects in Ottoman lands, and especially Holy Lands. There we can see important development about Christian Jewish settlement, or the Jewish claims for Jerusalem. That's we called it Zionism. Zionism is actually a national movement emerged in Europe in 19th century, but we see Zionists wanted to create a Jewish state in Palestine, and it's political Zionism and religious Zionism are there. Zion name, we can say Zion name is Mount Zion in Jerusalem, a hill in Jerusalem, a term used in Hebrew Bible. Zionists claim to Palestine based on the idea Jews had historical right to the region. The establishment of Jewish demographic majority is an essential aim of the Zionists, and for that aim, the Zionists try to establish, try to bring people to Jerusalem and take local Arab Jerusalem out of the city and change ethnic cleansing with some of ethnic cleansing, take a population of Palestine. The founder of Zionism is political Zionism is Theodor Herzl. Theodor Herzl, especially in 1896, wrote a book. It said Judenstadt, Jewish state, named Jewish state, in 1896. That was a manifesto providing the ideological basic for the Zionism. And of course, another communities were there. For example, Lovers of Zion. It was established before Theodor Herzl, 1884. And in the early 20th century, Zionism progressed by establishing towns, colonies in the city, region, Palestine, because with their monies, they bought lands in such way and had places in Palestine. And after Zionism, we can speak about Jewish settlements. Jewish already were in Jerusalem or Palestine, but their numbers were very few. They were few, especially Muslim Arabs had important population there. The most population in Jerusalem was Arabs, when after that Christians, and after them Jewish, few. They were very few. The Jewish settlements we can see in Palestine, 1881, end of the 19th century. First Aliyah, they call Aliyah, Aliyah. First Aliyah was 1881, between 1881 and 1903, and second Aliyah, or immigration, mass immigration, took place between 1904 and 1914. Approximately about 35, yes, 35,000 Jewish from especially Russia, because Jewish population in the world, the most were in Eastern Europe, especially Poland and Russian territories, and of course Germany. There were many Germany. Some of them were in America. They were all around the world, but I said the most Eastern Europe, and some of them were in Spain. Ashkenaz in Europe, Eastern Europe. Ashkenaz, others in Spain, we say Safarat. Jews lived in peace and minority in the Ottoman Empire. But that began to change. 1881, we say. Why was the 1881 the first Aliyah? Its reason was in Russia, an assassination of Tsar, Russian Tsar. In 1881, Jews were they took responsible of that assassination. 1881. And after that, anti-Semitism began in Europe, especially, anti-Semitism was Europe, but after that matter, it increased. And many Jews escaped from the Russian cities, Russian country, because they were arrested. Many were arrested, and public reaction increased against the Jews, and they migrated to other countries, especially to Ottoman. Ottoman policy was tolerant to the immigrants, and now it continues in Turkey for Syrians or other people. It was same in the Ottoman time, and Ottoman allowed Jews to come to Ottoman countries, but territories, but not to Palestine, other places. But especially Jews wanted to go Palestine, and after that, 1880s, it increased their migrations, because anti-Semitism increased in Europe generally, and they escaped from the Europe to Ottoman territories for their migration. Ottoman took some precautions against the Jewish settlements or migrations. Especially, we know Abdülhamit about that. Abdülhamit was against Jewish settling in Palestine, because he knew that Jews immigration to Palestine would bring some problems, and took some measures against Zionism early years. Ministry of Foreign, for example, against Zionism took some measures. Abdülhamit, particularly careful about Palestine Jews, ordered in 1882 no Jews should be allowed to Jerusalem except for the purpose of pilgrimage, because he saw Jews come to Palestine to settle, and maybe in future they will want independence from the state. And 1882, after first Alaya, the beginning of the first Alaya, he began to make some legal precautions against Jews, Jew immigrations, and gave 3 months, as I said, for pilgrimage. Out of pilgrimage, he didn't allow the Jew immigration to Palestine, and Jews. He learned that Jews buying some lands from the Palestine from local landlords or people, farmers, from the farmers. He tried to obstruct their initiatives, and Abdülhamit issued a law in 1888 prohibiting them from settling there and limiting resistance of residents of Jews to Palestine, and forbid their buying lands from there. But Abdülhamit's efforts made some favors, but didn't wholly work, because rich Jews worked against the Abdülhamid's policies, especially Rothschild family. Edmund Rothschild took places in Palestine and established some buildings, mills, factories, and employed their Jews end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th centuries. And by this way, Jewish people population increased in Jerusalem and till the First World War. It's some change some numbers change state, but it's 50,000-60,000 Jews were there. During the First World War, European powers began to agitate non-Turkish people against the Ottoman Empire, especially Arabs and Jews. And they revolted against the Ottoman Empire. Britain especially used that one because that region was important for Britain. Britain wanted security of the land and sea transport. India needed Suez Canal, Egypt and all region under control. Of course, they had Egypt in their hands. Wanted to strengthen control of the region. Zionist instability, Zion support he wanted, and attracted Zionists to itself. And promised Arab Sharif Hussein the Arab land to him. Another side, he promised British promised Jews the land in 1917. Balfour Declaration, with Balfour Declaration, the British Foreign Secretary Balfour to Lord Rothschild in 1917 that they would give Jews a country, homeland, and wanted the Rothschild help. And they took that help. After the war, England established a mandate in the region, Palestine, in 1922. And after that mandate, Jewish population increased dramatically in the region and came to serious numbers. In 1925, for example, Jewish population was 100,000, more than 100,000, and Jewish mandate government administration gave priority to the Jewish against Arabs. Jews in trade and industry. They developed in trade and industry, opened universities, but Arabs were backwards against them. The Nazis, especially in 1933, with the increased anti-Semitism, when they Holocaust, they made Holocaust in after two World War. During the two World War, Jews escaped from Europe to the Palestine, and world population that was righties for in their idea. And after that, Jewish population came to 600,000. And after World War II, the 1998 British announced that mandate would end May 15th May 1948, and the same day, 14th or 15th May, Zionists declared establishment of Israel state in Tel Aviv. After that declaration, the USA president announced 11 minutes later recognition of the state, and a day later, Soviet Union accepted that state's existence. And after that, Arabs reacted against Israel, and they fought several times. And after each war, Israel expanded their territories until 20th centuries, and now very little territory is in Palestinian Muslims, and it continues still. These, what I say, my presentation is this, and if you have questions, you can ask me. We can continue like this.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Mehmet, for your presentation about Jewish settlement in Ottoman Palestine and the history of Palestine. Since we have many viewers, I presume that many will be very eager to ask questions. So I would like to open to the public if someone has a question to you regarding your presentation.
I think it will be more useful to go through the questions because speaking one by one is sometimes you can't remember something, and if questions come, we can open the matter better.
Yeah. Any question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe this is a bit off topic. I would like to know why the Ottoman not recruiting the Jewish people into the Janissary in the early formation of the Ottoman Empire.
Did you get the question, Professor Mehmet?
Sound comes a little.
So the question by Havi, the question was why didn't the Ottomans recruit the Jews as Yenichary soldiers?
Yes. Ottoman didn't take Jews as military, but that was Ottoman's policy. In Janissaries, they took devshirme. He asked us about devshirme, I think. Only Christians. They used only Christians. And not only Jews, but Ottoman didn't take very short people, very tall people, or ugly or crippled. But Jewish didn't take. What can I say about it? Actually, I didn't think on it, but let me think of this.
Probably it is related to their late coming to the Ottoman Empire, because most Jews came from Andalusia to Selanik, and the system of
some Jews were there in Ottoman, but especially Ottomans, the most relevant people, non-Muslim people were Christians. Jews were few. Their numbers were very few. And before that Reconquista in Spain, Jews were few, of course, and didn't want to take because Christians were in Romania on European territories of Ottoman, and Ottoman wanted one kind of non-Muslims, and Christianity they took it. I think there isn't a special reason of this. Their numbers were very few.
Probably is related to what you mentioned before, that they went after strong races. So they mainly recruited Slavs and Albanians and Bulgarians and mainly Highlanders, people who were tough to fight, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, Ottoman didn't have an ethnic separatist idea, but didn't prefer to take Jewish. It's not its special thing. I remember like this.
All right, great. Thank you for your response. Do we have any other question? Sister Shirin, you made some comments. Are you still there?
Yes, I am here.
Do you have any question?
Yeah, I think for the region, what the present, we are aware of the present, but we are not familiar with the past. Meaning that the past borders of Palestine are very very different from the borders that are now. For example, I'm reading a book on Jesus, on Isa, written by a non-Muslim. If you see the maps during that time, means very very old maps, there's no word Israel there. There's only Palestine there. So I think maps are extremely important because they are visual. I mean, you can talk about it and you can write about it, but maps, they tend to stick in our mind, and these are visual uh, evidences or testament of the fact that really there's only Palestine there, during the past, and that was accepted by everyone. So I think the terminology is, when you look at maps, is the borders are not. I mean, coming from the modern world, we tend to, like, we learn about the modern maps from our school days. We have to like memorize it, right? So we are not so much aware of the ancient maps. That is what I was saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Countries, boundaries, borders may change over the time. And Palestine place, we say Palestine territories were Canaan territories, and Canaan actually includes modern Israel. And of course, something may change a little. They say Canaan for Canaan. I wrote here, I will say from this place. And for example, Canaan was south of Lebanon, south and west of the Lebanon. And in it, we see modern Palestine, most of modern Palestine, maybe some of Jordan, some of Lebanon, South Lebanon, or Sinai desert. It may include some places, but it actually not a very big place. And we say promised territories were larger, of course. It included Syria, some of Iraq, south of Turkey, and Egypt, west of Egypt, and some of Arab regions. But in time, territories, borders will change. You can see them, some Canon maps on online.
Professor, can I share some maps of Palestine here?
Yeah, I think this is important to know because I think as of today, they are starting the effort to really erase Gaza from the map. This is what they want, right? They want the Gaza not to be on the map. So we have to be aware of the map. I think
Yeah,
this is I think an
It
important thing.
includes Gaza, of course. Yeah, Palestine, Canaan territory.
Can you see this map, Professor
Yes,
Mahmoud?
you can see.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
So, I mean, this is how Palestine was divided in Ottoman times. It was part of the larger vilayet of Sham or Syria.
Sham. Syria is later, and it's later name, 1860s. Was
Okay, so
before
last time, Professor, it used to be named Sham, is it?
Yeah.
Syria is Sham.
Damascus. Of course, Ottoman used Sham.
Oh, mashallah. Okay.
Yes, Ottoman said Sham, Bilad-ı Şam, Bilad-ı Şam. Şam eyaleti. They used those names for Sham. Now its name is Sham now already, and that name comes from Umayya, and before that, it's not the name Ottoman made that name. It was known before Ottoman too, Sham name.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm stopping the sharing of the map of Ottoman Palestine.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Any other question?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Arina, I just wanted to ask you to ask a question.
Alright, Assalamualaikum, and thank you, Doctor, for tonight's presentation. And as a history student, and it's been in my mind for a while that this Israel, this Jewish people, they claim the land based on something based on their history, which happened during the ancient times, and yet across the time, in between after the ancient until now, there's so many things happen on their land. However, until now, they still claim that the land is theirs. But however, us as historians and future historians, we know that this is false due to like the coming of Quran itself and Ottomans and other civilizations that have been there before. But I just want to know your opinion on this adoption, on why we're adopting this false interpretation of history and the dangers of it. Yeah.
Thank you. The claim of Jews are coming from religion basis, especially from promised land. Before I say it, from time of Abraham, they say this is our country, and God promised us that country. That was David, the great King David, established our state here, and Solomon ruled here, and our religious, we say temple, temple, and the crying wall is there, but especially temple was destroyed, and they want to make these things again. This is a religious, and they wait for Qiyamah, or Judgment Day will be here, and Messiah will come here. Their claims are about that. So there is an important religious basis of wanting it. And why we adopt their claims? We don't adopt, but they are power talks. They are powerful, and they come here. After them, they support big, great powers support them, USA or Europe support them, and before USA, England supported them. If we are powerful, we don't need to accept their claims. This is not about adopting or accepting their claims. This is about power. If you are powerful, you can take there. And they began to settle there because Zionist idea was that they have to change the population of Palestine, and especially they changed the Palestine population by buying lands, especially from Ottoman time, some using low deficits, and they bought territories from landlords, and some abused the people, and of course the most they exiled or expelled people from the country, and they took lands from the native people. They settled there and established factories. They used technology, and they were powerful in USA. And now the richest people or richest families of the world are generally Jewish, and they use their powers to take that place. And evangelists, in our USA, they support Jews about that matter, and with power. They claim that and make it. If you are powerful, you can be across them, and you can say no. But you see, Arabic world can do nothing against that power, and they use it with power.
I see. So
I have another question, if there's time, but it's okay if there's no time.
No, there is time. Please continue, sister.
Okay.
Wait.
I just want to ask Prof.
Moment.
Prof, I know this is a difficult question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to answer it. But I want to ask you, like, from your standpoint, like from where you stand, and what you know, the Israel, the Jews, they say that they are doing this for their security. They say that all they are doing, this is what they say every day, right? In their Senate, in their parliament, they say they are doing this to ensure their security. Do you agree with this statement? This is what I want to ask you. Do you agree?
I will tell you, if states want to make anything, they originate their reasons. Of course, they will say that this is the procedure, not more. This is procedure, and they say this is our security. It's necessary. For example, beginning of 21st century, in 2001, USA, George Bush said Iraq makes nuclear weapons. but everybody saw that all people saw there weren't nuclear weapons, but it was a reason. And there's such a reason. He says, they say, this is our security, and make it. But what security? United Nations should find solutions for this. For example, they divided territories between two people, Jews and Palestinians in 1940s, and they can make it again. But actually, that reason is only procedure. I can say that. Or
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Welcome, Sister Arina. Do you want to continue? Do you have any more questions?
It's just that from Doctor's response just now means that if you have more power means that you can control the narrative of the historical facts. Am I right, Doctor? Is that what you're saying?
I can see that they have a claim. We are the owner of that land. They say religiously and historically, and they are powerful to make this. And if you are powerful, you will say, "Stop here. If you are here, you can't kill other people. We will solve that one in United Nations, and we'll bring here peace and to the territory, and everybody will take it." Or Jerusalem, for example, in 1940s, in a plan, during a plan, it was said that Jerusalem will be an independent special place, and out of Jerusalem, Palestinians and Jews will divide, will share the territories, but except for Jerusalem. Jerusalem will be a world value and will be an independent, a special government like Vatican and like Berlin in after Second World War, but that wasn't accepted. Maybe some different solutions can be found, but after that place, you can't change or you can't go take Jews out of here or take Muslims out of here. They will live here, will take their places and will live here. But as I said, Jews want here and one by one approach their aims. If you are powerful politically, you can stand against this.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Any more questions?
Assalamualaikum. Hi.
Alaikum salam.
I have a question. So I'm just, from all the news that came out after October 7th, 2023 and everything, there's something that I found very confusing, it's blowing my mind. Why do Jews think of Palestinians like lesser than human? Like we saw from the press conference, they say that the Palestinians are animals, called them all sorts of names, even though there are evidences, like perhaps the powerful sides, they say okay, they are powerful, they have the powers to attack them and everything, but how do there are younger generations, for example, of the Jewish population that could accept the atrocity or the same opinion as well. Like how, because I saw some videos, like even the younger generations, like teenagers in from the Zionist country, they also from Israel, they also called the Palestinians as animals and everything, like even lesser than animals sometimes. How do they have been like brainwashed from they were small or anything, or they were just, I don't think it was possible if they were not just exposed to the same history that we are all seeing. Like we saw, like they also know that they have like older generations that came from Poland, for example, like their like their grandmothers, because I watched a movie, like they acknowledge that their grandmothers and everything came from Poland, for example, and then settled down in Jerusalem. So how, why do you think they can think of such uh vicious image of Palestinians, because they know they are sharing
Because
the lands, or
because of Zionism, sister. Zionism, the philosophy of Zionism. That's the answer.
okay, thank you.
Uh, uh, the Germans did the same thing to them. For example, they were writing to their shops, Jews and dogs can't enter. They were writing them. They lived that under Ottomans, under German government, Hitler German government, and they make same thing to Muslims, Palestinian Muslims, because their belief, in their belief, their religion, they say that promised land is ours, not only Palestine. Promised land is a larger place. I say it includes Syria, some of Iraq, some of Egypt. Especially Jerusalem is very important because Jerusalem was the capital of the state of King David. It was a capital of them, and maybe they see Palestinians as occupiers in their view, and they humiliate the Muslims, as Germans did say once against them. This is, of course, this is for any people, for any human being. You can't say that, or human being are equal from the born, and equal before the laws, and nobody can say anybody that, but they say religiously they say have a right to expel those people from their countries, their lands, or killing those people. They make them, and this is the reality. We see that states may do something against that, and that's it.
Thank you, Professor Mehmet. Do we have any other questions? Any more questions? All right, just a short comment for all of you who have an interest on the history of Palestine. I'd like to remind our students that in the next coming long semester, we are going to teach the course, The History of Palestine. Some of you, like Arina, has already taken this course, but I'm sure that many others didn't take. So you are welcome to attend this course, which will start in October 2025. Even master students can attend this course if you like, or even those who come from other departments are free to join. Okay, so any more question before we continue? Okay, thank you, Amira. Okay, it seems we don't have any more question, Professor Mehmet. Do you want to make your final comments before we end the session?
Thank you for everything. I don't have anything to say. I thank you for that nice webinar, and inshallah it's useful for everybody. We try to explain something about history and modern situation of the Palestine. Thank you for everything to everybody.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Mehmet. I would like to thank even our students and lecturers and other guests who have attended your presentation. So this is the second webinar that we had with Professor Mehmet. So we will see you in the coming webinar, which me and Professor Mehmet were going to decide when we are going to organize, but most likely within, I presume, 2 weeks' time. Thank you once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam. Thank you
Thank
too.
you. Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atul.
Welcome.